making another video. I'm coming down from Anza now. I got some people talked me into doing some work, so I got, I guess, about 10 voicemails, and there's going to be probably about 8 or 9 jobs to show for it. So I came up here to Anza to try and get a new thermostat the customer installed, figured out, and it wasn't a thermostat, so he's got a $250 thermostat that he didn't need, but he should be able to return it. And I got a couple leads on some control boxes. So I've been working on the bus. I took the bus apart to fix a little exhaust leak. I changed the exhaust manifold gaskets and everything, and then I ended up breaking a bolt off in the bottom of the exhaust manifold where the Y pipe connects. So that wasn't very good, but I just ended up taking the whole exhaust off, not the manifolds, but I'm going to try and drill out and easy out what's left of the bolt, and I can't through bolt it because it goes into a cast area. That's a whole ball of wax, but I got the oil changed and fixed some other things. Somebody was going to come from LA and using public transportation to come pick up a bus when they've never driven a bus in their life, and they got a 40-foot bus they got to drive all the way back to LA from San Jacinto. Yeah. If she still wants to come out and get it, I'm going to park it on the street. I'm going to have a release liability electronically filed. If she shows up and gives me the money, I'm going to hand her the keys, going to show her how to open and close the door, put it in gear, and I'm going to walk away. The other person's from San Bernardino. They said they'll fix the exhaust themselves, so I'm going to put the exhaust back together if they're going to come by it. I'll be a little bit more enthusiastic to them because it's one thing I don't have to mess with again. So now I'm taking the long way home, because to get back to Hemet from Anza, I can either go through the dirt on Batista Canyon, or I can go around the mountain through Mountain Center and everything, or I can go down through Anza and then dang it, I forget what they call the area I'd have to go through. I guess part of Temecula and then Cactus Valley, which I don't know, either. There's no way to cut straight through except Batista Canyon, and I just don't know. I don't want to go down washboards for the next half hour, rattle my teeth out, find every nut and bolt that's not torqued down to spec. So I'll go off-roading if I have to, but if I don't have to, might as well stay on the blacktop. So anyways, I'm not going to talk about current events other than, you know, now we're at a 4-week lockdown, because the 2-week lockdown was expired the day before yesterday. Now we're in lockdown until April 30th, and then probably get a 90-day lockdown after that, like Virginia, which is a place I've been before. So still going to be able to get some projects done in between work. I'm just going to try and do as much work as I can safely as possible, and then try and get some stuff sold that I can sell now, and then get some stuff ready to sell that once all this is said and done. I don't know if I'm going to have to get on unemployment or anything, because I'm not going to be able to work as much, but if I can squeak by, I'll be fine. I just drive the Mad Max car around now, because if somebody sees my work trailer and truck and thinks I've got toilet paper, hand sanitizer, or I don't know, whatever is the gold now, It's all I need is to get robbed or come out to my truck and find out everything's gone. So I don't think anybody's gonna mess with me with this. I could be wrong, but so I've got the ambulance. I'm just now finding out that somebody's trying to do the I forget what it's called, but it's like the Cannonball Run thing, where they go transcontinental coast to coast run to see how fast it can be done. And so be trying to fix up an ambulance like the Cannonball Run ambulance again, the Dodge, with the 500 cubic inch motor. And I guess they're running into some issues. And I've got a 1995, I think they're doing it with a 71 or 78 ambulance that wasn't even an ambulance. They're just using the long van with the 7 windows. I've got a 1995 liter GMC G30 ambulance that's got the 350 TBI motor and the 704R transmission with an overdrive. Well, everybody knows the 400R has overdrive, but has a good low first gear and decent gears in the middle, and then an overdrive brings the motor down to a decent RPM. There's enough room to probably put a 100-gallon tank down the middle between where the jump seats and where the gurney used to be. Heck, 100 gallons along with the, I think, a 40-gallon tank that's already in it. 140 gallons of fuel in a small block TBI. I mean, it's a 7,000 or 8,000 pound vehicle, being conservative. But that thing in overdrive, all the windows rolled up, should do pretty close to 100 miles an hour. It's only got 31,000 miles on it. But I don't know, man. I'm not saying I would do the run. Ed Brolin on VinWiki has another fella that is on his channel that's had everything from the first General Lee and a Blues Brothers car and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I mean, yeah, I'd love to drive that. And nobody's going to drive it by themselves solo, but I wouldn't mind. Had 3 people, and this is the time of year to do it. That engine has some weird knock or ping at mid throttle. Doesn't do it at wide open throttle, and it doesn't do it at idle. And when I did a rhythm test on it, it has some weird low compression spot at one of the cylinders. So I think it's got a weak valve spring, because it's a 1995 motor in an ambulance, and it's only got 31,000 miles on it. So that thing must have sat around a long time. And when an engine shuts off, pretty much every engine except the rotary, when it shuts down, it always stops in the same position. There's just one position it always stops at, and it's probably where one of the intake or exhaust valves was on full open, and the compression, the valve spring was compressed completely. And if it sat like that for, say, I don't know, 95 to 2000, I don't know my math that well, but that's quite some time to be sitting around to only put that many miles on in that period of time. So I got a feeling one of the valve springs collapsed. It ran completely great when I bought it, but when I went to smog it, they said that the CO was kind of high, and I got a feeling that that exhaust valve or intake valve that's in question is hanging open a little bit because the spring is tight and the vacuum is high, and it's trying to push that valve open, or pull it open. That's probably where my pre-ignition is coming from. So I'm gonna end up pulling the valve covers off and checking the valve springs, I should be able to visually see if one of the valve springs has any fractures or cracks, or even if it's kind of curved in a weird angle. It'd be nice if I could identify it without pulling every spring off. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a compression check with the engine hot, because it does it worse when the engine's really warm. So I'll just do a compression and leak down test on each cylinder when it's hot, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find what cylinder it is, and stuff a bunch of rope in the cylinder, or put the cylinder under compression, and pop the keepers out, get the springs out, and check them. And if I find the right one, that thing will be a good running unit. People hate that unit. I love it, just because people hate it. So anyways, so I just figured I'd make a little bit more of a damn, that stop sign snuck up on me. Make a little bit more of an upbeat and entertaining video. We'll looking at my mug and talking while driving. But one of the other thoughts of got a big fire truck going by. One of the other thoughts I had for the ambulance, because a transcontinental trip from coast to coast, since I'm in California, and it's going to have to go probably to whatever harbor it goes to that's closest to the other coast. I guess in Virginia, they've got a lot bigger quarantine conditions, and they're low on medical staff all the way from Chicago, Georgia, and I think from Illinois over to the coast to Virginia Beach. Their medical staffing and their ventilators and everything are in high demand and low supply. So I thought, if this vehicle is an ambulance, it's a fully functional non-emergency ambulance from Loma Linda University. It has all the equipment in it. It has an oxygen tank, has suction, it has ventilators in it, all kinds of respiratory apparatus. It's an ambulance. If it's going to make that trip and it's not going to be modified to the point where it can't be re-established as an ambulance again, after it takes the trip out there, it can just stay out there. It can be donated to whatever healthcare location needs an ambulance. I mean, it's only going to get another 3,500 miles on it, maybe, between now and driving back across the country. It's going to be less than 40,000 miles on this ambulance. Oh, that's an old fire truck. He just turned on his lights for me. That's cool. So I think it would serve two purposes. I don't know. I don't have good ideas for what's going on. I just have this idea of an opportunity, the best opportunity possible, now that the roads are pretty much clear, to do a high-speed run across the country in an ambulance, and it'd be a one-way trip for a good cause. That's just my idea. Because I don't need the ambulance. I'm going to utilize everything I can out of it while I need it, while it's here. But if it's going to be sent double duty to go across country and end up being stationed over there, okay, That's fine with me. So definitely consider getting a hold of Ed Brolin and seeing if we can make sense of it. Now, if this is morally inappropriate at any point, to the point where people are going to be, oh, well, you're just doing a publicity stunt for yourself or for bragging rights or for the VinWiki, whatever. No, that's not what it's about. It's about doing something to produce more content in the media, the social media, not the media. Hell with the media right now. Man, I got people pulling off the road when I drive by, and I'm not even breaking the speed limit. But I don't know, it's an opportunity to do something to make more content that people are watching on YouTube, to distract them from this events that are at hand, and also be able to get this vehicle to maybe where it's possibly needed more than we need it on this coast, because DC and Virginia and Maryland, Potomac area, all those areas are a mixing pot of every diplomatic culture. There's people from all over the country there, because that's where everybody works for the government. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's a place that's going to have the most threat of this virus becoming less controllable because of the population in that area, the excessive amount of nightlife that a lot of people are being stubborn about. Even in Florida, my buddy in Florida, Brian, he was telling me they're finally citing and arresting people who are going to the beaches that aren't heeding to this lockdown and this social distancing. And God forbid you have to go to jail around a bunch of other people who haven't been following the protocol to try and keep themselves from being infected with this virus. And you're going to be around all those same idiots that probably have been exposed to the virus because of their own stupidity. I mean, that's tough love right there. So anyways, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I got cruise control and Vixen, the 2008 Crown Victoria Mad Max car, about 52.8 miles per hour. And I got the trees and the sun. Man, the sky is clearer than I've seen it ever. Me and another buddy were talking last night that you can look up in the sky and you see no contrails, you see no jet stream, and when there isn't a marine layer or any cloud cover, there's kind of a high ceiling right now. We've got a haze, but it's almost like you can see the heavens. It's so crazy that all these areas that have had the most pollution, China included, has had record-breaking clean air, like they've never seen before. This is like when we had 9/11 and all air traffic was ceased, and we actually had the places on the planet's surface that the contrails and the jet streams were shading the temperatures on the planet's surface in those areas. Where the jets passed over the most actually increased because they weren't in cloud cover and shade of the exhaust from commercial airliners. Talk about global warming. This isn't the best way in the world to have it happen, but holy shnikes, this is crazy. What's weird is I'm driving, it's my air intake temp, or actually my intake temp is 60.8 degrees. The air temp outside is 59. On the way here, it was 75. And I have this whole torque app thing that I have a tablet up here for my instrument panel. It looks like the space shuttle. There's still snow on the mountains on both sides of me. And it was 75 degrees, 78 degrees up here. So, and there's water in all the creeks. Strawberry Creek has got water in it. Lake Hemet over here is way to capacity, if not higher. The lake I live on is literally, I got ducks just taking a little mild step from the water, the surface of the lake onto my dock, and my dock has like 17 steps to go down to the water in the summertime when it's dry. Now, a duck with no legs could get onto my dock. So, turn the overdrive off now. I got some climbing to do. So, yeah, it's funny. I've passed 3 Riverside County Sheriff's Department vehicles, and people always ask me, "Don't you get pulled over in that thing a lot, or don't you get in trouble?" They just drive on by, and I know what they're thinking. They're all like, "Oh, hell no, I am not pulling that thing over and doing all the paperwork for that. I'm busy enough right now." So yeah, anyways, I'm trying to do some upbeat videos. I don't need to be talking about what's happening in the world. I didn't have any accurate information, and the information I'm getting is from the media, which is complete bullshit. So they're just trying to make ratings. They're not trying to help anybody through this. They're trying to get the best bang for the buck. Man, down a second. So roll down my windows and get to hear B-71 police interceptor with open exhaust going up to 4,000 feet right now. Second gear with 31.10.5 on it. I wonder if it'll go down in the first if I put it in drive. Hold on. Nope, going too fast. I'll slow down. Let's see. Anywhere under 30 it'll do it. So I guess I'll end that video now. We're at about 23 minutes. I have a bad habit of going over, wearing out my welcome on my memory card. So you guys stay safe. Don't panic. Find a hobby that keeps you away from people, or at least inside. And let's stick to our guns. And we'll get through this. So I'll talk to you guys in a little while. Thanks for watching.